Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I'm going to be talking about specifically Dust Adventures, the tabletop role-playing game based on the miniatures war game made by Modiphius, the company Modiphius, and then also the actual writer-designer for this is Paolo Parenti. Okay, all right. So I want to just talk. So let me explain what it actually is. Okay, so what this game is it is a tabletop role-playing game specifically set in 2 years after World War II ended on our world, except World War II has not ended. So this world has some significant differences. So in 1938, an alien spacecraft was discovered in the Antarctica by the Germans, okay? And that tech is taken and actually reverse engineered and then turned into the other elements of this new world where World War II is just continuing to absolutely rage on. And actually, the game is called Dust Adventures because the war has been so dramatic that, the war has been so dramatic that many of the major cities in major countries have literally been turned to dust. There's like nothing left, right? So this is, it really reminds me a lot of World of Warcraft, where, you know, not World of Warcraft, of Warhammer and Warhammer 40K, where, you know, their motto is "There is only war." This is very similar to that. So basically, in our world, World War II ended in 1945. In this world, it is 1947, and World War II is very much still raging, okay? Now, based on that alien tech, the following things happen. There are now walking tanks, which are called walkers. There's jet-powered aircraft, mechanized armor, laser weapons, and all four of those things are fueled by VK, which is vril cultures, right? Which is like these, and it's a fuel that is battled over within this new war. Just like oil was really kind of battled over. Actually, oil was a major pinch point within World War II. So that's the setting, right? So that is the setting. Now let's talk about the game a little bit. So so let's talk about Modiphius, okay? Modiphius is, if you're not familiar with Modiphius, get familiar. They are, they are a really, really powerful new tabletop role-playing game house that is creating multiple tabletop role-playing games. Dust is just one of them. There's Mutant Zero. They have quite a few more that are really, and all their content is exceptionally well done. So when you buy a Modiphius game, you're going to get really strong layout, fairly strong story. You know, really in most cases, it's going to be very strong story, a really solid tabletop role-playing game almost all the time. More and more, I feel like Modiphius looks like Paizo, it looks like FFG, and it looks like WotC. And actually, now that we're talking about it, let me stack those up. So right now, I think, you know, if you're talking about the specific companies, one moment. Excuse me. So if you're talking about the specific companies within tabletop role-playing games, and the quality of the tabletop role-playing games they're making, I think it goes as follows. Wizards of the Coast, very best. Like, they're the best in the industry. They drive the industry. Fantasy Flight Games, I would say, is next. Monty Cook Games is after that. And then I would say Modiphius is fourth. And actually, Paizo is now fifth. And so those are the top companies in the industry. I don't think anybody's doing it better. And so Modiphius is a major source for tabletop role-playing games. And I wanted to just take a minute just to talk about, you know, the power of that company and what they're doing. They're a very interesting company. You should absolutely go check out their stable of games, and consider buying one or more, because they really are just an excellent source. There is one more thing I wanted to talk about with the setting. The setting. So because the World War II is different, in our world we had the Axis and the Allies. In the Dust Adventures world, There's Axis, there's Allies, and there is also the Sino-Soviet Union, the SSU, okay? And while I'm on it, the Soviets are incredibly prominent in this game. I'm not sure why that is, but it was a little distracting to me. But it's part of the game. They're very, very prominent. There seem to be more player character options connected to the Soviets. It's just a big part of the game, right? So you have that going on, and all this is happening, right, within the game. Oh yeah, so let's talk about my ratings. So I'm going to rate this on 3 different scales. The first is production. Production is and I am also reviewing the PDF version of this game, right? So the PDF version of this game is very, very well done, very clean and crisp, right? The layout is excellent, the art is excellent. This game, and now one of the things that they did too is this game is based on a miniatures war game, skirmish game, right? And so because of that, you actually see within the game, there is a situation where they talk about, within the art, they actually show pictures from the game, right? Now, they could have made it easy and just done the entire game, illustrating it with pictures from the tabletop wargaming. They did not do that. They did a really nice job of mixing in really compelling photos of battle scenes from the miniatures war game with art, and it's really excellent. It's very well done. I was very impressed with it. The art is really compelling. All of that. The production values on this are very, very good. It has a glossary. It has all the standard things that games should have. This is a very well done production on creating and distributing a tabletop role-playing game. I give it 4 out of 5 stars for production. Okay. All right, setting. All right, so I give the setting on this game 2 out of 5 stars, and I give the rules on this game 2 out of 5 stars. Now, I should say, my actual rating, going into this was really 1 out of 5 stars for both setting and rules. And I'm going to acknowledge a prejudice here, and that's one of the reasons why I'm giving it an extra star on each. This game really feels like a non-American product, right? And the only reason I'm bringing that out is Modiphius is it's a European company that makes these games. But Modiphius' other games have never seemed un-American to me. Not un-American, that's the wrong word. Non-American. It's not un-American. It's not anti-American in any way. It just feels like it was not created in the United States. Now, I'm a United States buyer, and I actually feel, this is my opinion, that the vast majority of tabletop role-playing game companies make their products very American, and the reason why is I think the American TRPG market is much, much, much larger than any market in the world. You could take a few of the other countries in the world. You could group up multiples of other countries in the world. You could group up multiple continents, in my opinion, and you would not be able to match the American tabletop role-playing game market, right? Now, so that's all my opinion, right? And also, I've been spoiled in that I really feel that when I look at foreign games, they were really built for an American audience, right? Which makes a lot of economic sense. And it really looks to me like Dust Adventures is not, right? And when I look at the Americans as they're portrayed in this book, one, they never even invaded, right? Which I'm like, whoa, hey, slow your roll there. Like that seems like that's a way to take some American viewers out really, really quickly, or readers and experiencers of the game. It was not disrespectful in any way to America in how it portrayed America. America just is not prominently featured in this game, right? And the only reason that's an issue is we are prominent. Like virtually every other tabletop role-playing game is created for us, right? So now the only reason I'm pointing this out is some readers and experiencers of the game, that may not be an issue at all to them, right? So, but it was to me. I was like, whoa, like the Americans are just kind of lame in this game. And that I've really never seen that before. It's just kind of odd, right? So, and the other thing is there's a ton of shine on the Sino-Soviet Union in here, in just them as they just get a lot of attention in the game, right? And it just seemed odd, right? Also, just so you're aware, one other change within the world is that the Germans, the Nazis, have been defeated, right? So the Germans are just fighting as Germans, right? Again, super strange. Like it's hard for me to even place that. Like, that's just it. This game is all about World War II, right? And an extension of World War II. And World War II looked at from a very, very different lens, right? And so it is really, really, really a unique game, but it is an unusual game, and it has some challenges for me as an American experiencer of the game, right? So just be aware of that. And also, I just wanted to say, the reason why I'm giving it 2 out of 5 stars is I'm recognizing my prejudice as an American experiencer of the game, and a very, and I bring a lot of personality to my reviews. This is very, I think others who read this might not come away with the same experience, but to me, it was really unusual, right? So, and I mean, clearly, if I'm rating it 2 out of 5 stars on setting and rules, this was not my favorite game, and I will say that right now. Dust Adventures did not overly excite me. I saw the obstacles to play more than I saw the things that exciting. Now, I would say, actually, I would love to be involved in a game of Dust Adventures for a game master. This is a game I would love to play, and I often don't walk away from games saying that, because I'm primarily a game master, and so I really like the idea of what they're doing in here from the perspective of it's really unique. I would love to play an American who has control of a walker, right? That would be cool. That would be a really cool way to play. But overall, there's so many obstacles to play for me to this. It just was not one of my favorite games. I do want to talk about a few other things. So one, just want to talk about how actions are, how difficulty. Let's walk through a difficulty check, right? So I'm a U.S. soldier in the game, and I want to shoot an opposing enemy soldier. So how do I do that, right? So one, the dice in this game are special symbol dice. They're Dust Adventure. They're actually Dust Miniature War Games dice, and they have special symbols on them. So, and they are all D6s, all right? And they have like symbols like shields on them and targets, like what you would see for like a target, when you're looking through a weapon's sights, right? So when you roll your D6s, you get these targets, and if you get a target, if you get enough targets, you succeed, right? Now, a difficulty of 1 is you need 1 target. Now, this is very strange. Whenever you're doing a difficulty of 1 in the game, it's only because the player is choosing to do a difficulty 1, target 1 difficulty, right? This game. Oh yeah, well, let's get it. Let me keep going. All right, so difficulty 1, you need 1 target, right? But that's only to determine if you want to get additional successes for a better success, an elevated success, right? The normal standard difficulty in this game is you need 2 targets. You need to roll 2 targets for your dice pool in order to literally the target symbol on the Dust D6s. You have to get 2 of those, right? 3 is very, very difficult, and 4 is the max difficulty in the game. Okay, so there's a lot of range there, right? It's not just like, oh, you need an 18 to hit. Roll your dice, right? Also, how do you build your dice pool, right? You do it with characteristics, which are essentially attributes. You do it with skills, and you do it with special skills, right? This game is very, very skill-centric, right? It's very significantly skill-centric aspect of the game, which, if you guys have been, it's not one of my favorite mechanics within a tabletop role-playing game, is basing things heavily on skills, right? So you have that, and that's how you actually do. So you build dice pools based on characteristics, skills, and special skills. You roll your dice pool, and you're looking for the target symbol on your die. If you get 2 of those, you've succeeded on a standard difficulty. If you get 3, you've succeeded on a very difficult difficulty. And if you get 4 targets, you've succeeded on the max difficulty in the game, right? All right, so now I just want to talk a little bit about things I liked in the game and things I didn't like in the game. I kind of got like a little bit of a short list here. And so what did I like in the game? There's some really cool things in this game. One, the setting really is unique, and I really did enjoy reading the setting. Now, the setting is a double-edged sword. It's pretty awesome, and it's really cool and unique, and it's also one person's vision. It really appears to be one person's vision. This doesn't look like a committee game, right? But at the same time, it really raises a lot of obstacles to this game being played in the following ways. So in order to play this game, you need somebody who likes miniature war games. You need somebody who likes tabletop role-playing games. You need now you can play it without the figs and all that kind of thing, but it really is centric to the miniature war game. So you really do need both of those. You also need somebody who has an extensive knowledge of World War II, because there's a lot of beautiful things in here, like little, almost like Easter eggs of World War II, that if you don't have a strong knowledge of World War II, you're not going to get it, right? And I will say, I have a good knowledge of World War II. I don't think I have an extensive knowledge of World War II. I think there's things in this game that went over my head because I have two degrees, and my knowledge, and I'm a history fan, and still I didn't have the World War II chops to really get everything that was being put out here for this game. So that was that's a lot of, you really need, it's going to be a slim Venn diagram of who's going to actually enjoy this game, right? So that's kind of interesting. You also have vehicle modification in this game. But I did like the setting. I thought it was really interesting. The vehicle modification. So there's vehicle modification, weapon modification in this game. The gear in this game is crazy. It's one of the best things in the game. Super, super detailed, super unique. Players who like a lot of crunch with their gear and their weapons and their vehicles and being able to mod those and make them better, they're going to love this game, right? It's all there. In addition to that, there's gizmo design. Gizmo design is really, really cool. So gizmo design specifically is building brand new, unheard of weapons to put into the setting. Awesome idea. Very, very cool. I think it worked really well. There's an A to Z weird list in this game. It's almost like a glossary on steroids, with cool being the steroids. It's like really, really, it was the best aspects of the game. Talked about Tesla weapons and all kinds of cool stuff. And then the walkers. The walkers are absolutely the coolest thing in the game. These walking tanks, they're really, really cool aspect of the game. Here's a few things I did not like about the game. It is a sea of text. It is just an absolute sea of text. And it's not because they didn't put enough art. By the way, it's only 216 pages long, right? But I've been raised on Fate, which is Fate Accelerated, which is 50 pages long and lets you play in any world. So that's a high bar. And Dust just, kind of gets left in the dust by Fate, a game like Fate, right? So it's just an absolute, half the pages are just walls of text, and you're just like, ugh. There's a lot here. Rules, setting, it's dense. This game is dense, right? It is bleak. I'm talking bleak. It is World War II. So, World War II is incredibly bleak, and they're like, we're doubling down on World War II. It is an incredibly bleak setting. So if you got somebody who likes sunshine and ponies, this ain't the game for them. It is incredibly bleak. The next one is, it says it is advertised as a rules light tabletop role-playing game. And I love Modiphius. I'm a big fan of them. Modiphius, Paolo Parenti. I'm telling you guys right now, you have no idea what the words rules lights means. To look at this 216-page beast, right, and look at the rules that allow. Come on, man. If you got weapon modification in your game, you're not looking at a rules light game. This thing is gritty. The idea that rules light would be applied to this, I don't know whose idea that was. This is not rules light by any stretch of the imagination, right? Anybody, if you're making a game and your game is over 100 pages long, really think twice about saying rules light. It's just, I don't know. To me, the term rules light is being overused, and this is absolutely not rules light. My review for this game: production 4 out of 5 stars, setting 2 out of 5 stars, rules 2 out of 5 stars. I do not recommend this game for purchase unless you are a fan of Modiphius, you are a fan of the author, you are a fan of World War II, and you are also a fan of pulp science fiction, and you are a fan of tabletop role-playing games. In that case, yes, I would absolutely recommend purchase to that small sliver of people. Dust Adventures was an interesting read. I was not overly. I would like to play it. I don't think I'd be that interested in running. That's my take on Dust Adventures. Take care.